I think at some point, and they played well yesterday with Tua, but Teddy Bridgewater, I've had before. He's an outstanding player, and I believe we're going to see multiple quarterbacks play, not relative to injury, but just a controversy, if you will.
If you ever watch pro wrestling at any point in your life, then you done seen one of these moments when a wrestler's down for the count. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Right before 3, they all of a sudden spring to their feet and change the dynamic of the entire wrestling match.
Whether I'm feeling good or not, just being out here kind of uplifts my spirit, and I hope it does the same for them. But I mean, just being out here, being able to see football again, and it's just great.
Tua's career has already hung in the balance multiple times during the relatively short time he's been playing. This dude has faced some real adversity in the sport. And bro, how many times has he risen to the occasion? Back in college, when he was thrown into the national title game as a true freshman, he answers the call. Then the injuries he's dealt with. Before he even made it to the league, he needed tightrope surgery to put metal ligaments into each one of his ankles. And a lot of people have forgotten the career-threatening hip injury that he suffered at Alabama, and he's bounced back fully. The most obvious and most recent of Tua's on-field adversity has been the string of concussions he's racked up early in his career, to the point where media guys were suggesting that retirement might be his best bet. The second time he's heard that, and Tua himself admitted that he considered it after having a really rough start to his career. So at 25 years old, bro, that's twice already where injury has called his young career into question. But the dude keeps surviving. He keeps finding a way. And at some point, the sports world gonna have to come to grips with that, which is hard because a lot of people tried to bury him early on. And now to make that 180 is a tough turn for your pride. Nobody threw him a life jacket when he was being drowned in comparison to the other quarterbacks in a fire draft class. The 2020 QB class, 3 years and change into their careers, is on a trajectory to be one of the best in league history. And while fans of each player have had one thing or another to kind of hang their hat on through these first few seasons, coming into this year, bro, I think it's fair to say that Tua fans have had the hardest time defending their guy. When I say defending their guy, I mean against media in general, and especially the internet brigade who spend every waking moment on the internet somewhere trying to boost up their quarterback by taking every possible cheap shot at his contemporaries. Every bad 2-game stretch, every interception, every off game, the brigade's always there. And bro, I've noticed this in every fan base I've come across, and I feel like it leads to a lack of appreciation for the game overall. I think the sport in general is more fun when you recognize not just weaknesses, but actual strengths of other players. Why would you even want to make it seem like your guy's going up against bums? And then when he had that bad game, you start digging up the goalposts. Look, all these dudes play different and have traits that should be admired. And making comparisons is cool, but I think we get carried away. But like I was saying, both Burrow and Hurts already have conference championships, and taking their whole careers into account, Herbert's the most statistically prolific. So coming into the season, while Tua had a good stretch of games last year, Tua fans still kind of had the least amount of ground to defend. But 3 games into the season, 4 years after they was drafted, and it seems the good fortune has finally turned to Tua. And even this dude's most diabolical haters are currently having a hard time finding reasons to hate. Bro, I've seen Tua handle situations throughout the years with so much grace and class, and yeah, bro, that stuff means something to me. But in the football world, when you say, oh, he's a good guy, people automatically assume that means that he's a bad player. But bro, you can do both, and there's a bunch of catalysts for that. But nobody's carrying that flag better than Tua is right now. I like him because the dude is as genuine as they come. And you know another word for genuine? Authentic. No, real. And besides real, there's another word that I associate with genuine. And when you hear genuine, bro, it's probably not the first word that comes to your mind. But in order to be genuine, you have to be confident. You have to believe deep down that regular you is enough. Like, why do most people lie? They want to make themselves sound better or quote unquote cooler than they really are. So when you think about it, the only way to be 100% genuine is to be fully confident in who you really are. And something that annoys me way more than it probably should is when people think a trait or emotion looks the same in every person. They think confidence looks like this and passion looks like this, but confidence also looks like this and passion also looks like this. And yeah, this is toughness, but this is toughness too. You can argue whether or not it's wise, but that's a whole nother discussion. attention. But when these traits don't come with cool, people pretend they can't see it. And I think that's caused a lot of people to completely misread Tua and his confidence and his heart and his grittiness. Like, stop playing with him. Before the season started, Ryan Clark threw a couple jabs at Tua. And while I think the jabs were mostly harmless, he wouldn't have took the jabs if it was not Tua. People started thinking he was a punching bag just because he's not like brash and outspoken. But everybody's heard this piece of wisdom at some point in their life. It's the quiet ones you gotta worry about.
I'd appreciate it if you kept my name out your mouth. That's what I'd say.
Alright man, real quick before we jump back in, today's video partner is DraftKings Sportsbook. NFL fans, the season's just heating up with big wins on the field and bigger wins off it. This video is sponsored by DraftKings Sportsbook, an official partner of the NFL. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Just download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and sign up using my promo code FlemLo. You heard me right. New customers who bet $5 will get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Whether you're a college football fan or an NFL fan, either way, DraftKings has betting options for you. And DraftKings has something for the diehards too. Let's say you just watch one team every week, but you know that team like the back of your hand. DraftKings same game parlays is the perfect move for you. Combine multiple bets all from the same game, all for a chance at an even bigger payout. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. To all the new customers, use promo code FlemLo. Bet just $5 on any wager and get you $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code FlemLo, only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Thanks to DraftKings once again for sponsoring this video. And without further ado, it's time to jump back in. Before the season started, Ryan Clark threw a couple jabs at Tua. And while I think the jabs were mostly harmless, he wouldn't have took the jabs if it was not Tua. People started thinking he was a punching bag just because he's not like brash and outspoken. But everybody's heard this piece of wisdom at some point in their life. It's the quiet ones you gotta worry about.
Tell you what he wasn't doing. He wasn't in the gym. I bet you that.
Come on,
he wasn't with me. He might have spent a lot of time at the tattoo parlor. He was not at the dinner table eating what the nutritionist had advised.
Oh my.
He looks happy. Yeah, he's built like a girl work at Onyx in Atlanta right now on the bottom.
Like I come from a Samoan family. Like respect is everything. I think we're pretty tough-minded people, and if we need to get scrappy, we can get scrappy too. Just saying. I'd appreciate it if you kept my name out your mouth. That's what I'd say.
You mentioned him taking things personal. Recently, we had a phone call. That was a man-to-man phone call. Tua Tagovailoa is tired of people talking about him, and he's a grown man. And I think he wants.
So ultimately, they patched it up and moved on because Tua's not going to hold a grudge, at least not publicly. But he seemed like the type that takes stock of all that stuff, then go out there on the field and put 70 on your head. As ironic as it is, Tua fits Mike McDaniel's offense, kind of like Drew Brees fits Sean Payton's offense. It's a perfect marriage of skill set and system, and when they mesh just right, bro, they unlock magic. And despite going to another level once he partnered with Sean Payton, Drew Brees don't get downgraded for being a quote-unquote system quarterback. But some people want to downgrade what Tua's doing, and bro, it's fine to add context, but show that man his respect and appreciate what we watching. Like, here's something crazy. Offensive schemes exist, and certain players are unlocked when playing in those systems because those systems do what they're supposed to do. They highlight the skill set that the QB was known to have when he was scouted and drafted in the first place. And it's highlighted in gold because dude is really shining. Bro, he ranks first in wins, first in passer rating, and he ranks first in touchdowns per attempt. He's first in yards per attempt and yards per completion. And if he keep this up for a while, this might be a historic season. This past week, he couldn't miss. He completed 89% of his passes on a 300-yard, 4-touchdown day, which means this maniac threw for more touchdowns in that game than he threw incompletions. With all that said, I do have to point out that last year, bro, literally, Tua started out the exact same way. Now, last year, he got injured. This year, prayers up that don't happen. Let's hope this dude can stay healthy so we can see how far he can take this. That said, the fact remains that he hasn't played a full season, and getting off to a fast start is important, but so is finishing strong. And I don't remember the exact ailment. I think he was in and out with concussions or maybe an ankle or something, but he did go 0-4 last year in December. So rectifying that and having his first playoff success are two of the last things that Tua's got to prove, at least right now, because we all know that like if he does those things, people gonna gonna dig up that goalpost and move that thing back. He'll have to do it without Mike McDaniel or do it without Tyreek Hill. But just ignore all of that bullshit, because it ultimately doesn't matter. But since we all know that Tua is a really good dude, it's dope to see him prove that he's also a really good player. He doesn't have the icy demeanor of a Burrow or Hurts, but in his case, maybe revenge is a dish that's best served warm, with just a little pinch of salt to make sure you're getting the message. And when he finished serving fools out there on the field, they gotta do the right thing and go change that Yelp review.
Obviously, that was embarrassing, and
I know that you said it's embarrassing, but this is kind of an historic game. I mean, it's the
I'm aware.
third time the team has scored 70 points, over 700.
What's the question? What's the
How do
question?
you feel about it being
I just finished telling you.
historically embarrassing?
Next question.
I'ma go